the reverse time. Man, that can do wonders in the mid lane.
Exactly, but we have to look at the past though. On paper, it sounds good, it looks good, but the last time we saw a Grok in the jungle, it struggled.
Here we go, game one between RSG SLATE Philippines and ONIC PH. Look at this, Light and Exort already crossing through.
Man, Kekedot doing a pretty good job of putting down this Beatrix. Again, huge comfort pick here for Eman, used very extensively in the past seasons. And yeah, this is the right way to do so. Right now, Light, he's gonna have to put a pause on the mid lane because with a Grok there, it's a no-go zone.
And that's what allows ONIC Philippines to gain a little bit of momentum, because between the Kadita and the Valentina, save for big team fights, it's hard to get a one-up over ONIC Philippines. But now look, they're continuing the pressure. ONIC PH winning the gold lane.
It's just going to be this traditional double gold start with a Diggy paired up with a Brody. There have been multiple times where that showed up in MPL Philippines Season 10, and most of the time, it will be that duo winning the gold lane, especially for one Cho. It'll be quite difficult. So later on, you'll see RSG SLATE balance that out by committing more ganks onto the gold lane just so that they could help Eman a little bit further and potentially delay the eventual scaling of one Brody.
Yeah, because this is the reason why this is so strong is because just imagine the amount of distance that a Brody can make against a Beatrix, coupled with it's so hard for a Beatrix to position herself.
Yeah.
With these time bombs all around. So even with Light there, just bopping these bombs, he's going to put low a lot of times, and he has to consider where the Brody is.
And that puts Light and the rest of RSGPH in a very interesting position. Speaking of which, down bottom though, Exort bursting down there, making this turtle all the more difficult. Oh,
yeah, no goes on to the bot lane, but we are going to go on top side. Going to be, again, stymied here by the Diggy. The power of the Diggy here. Light is playing with fire here. He's going to be able to make it out alive, though, but then again, still a lot of gold being equalized by ONIC.
RSG SLATE all escaping with just a hit of their lives is a good thing that they were able to secure that turtle. That extra shield given to the team is what ensured that Light will be able to escape that. So clutch.
But wait, check that tier 1 turret up top though. Look at that. What?
It was put down so low.
Yeah. Did you see that?
It's inevitable at this point. That's expected, and I'm sure RSGPH knows that. That's why they're here up top now.
Again, the perks of the Brody pick right now being shown. Time Journey and the Flicker being committed by ONIC just to make sure that, you know, we don't get any casualties on top side, but this will be an opening here for RSG to maybe equalize some of that gold loss on top.
Yeah, and speaking of equalize, that's why the first rotation of Exort was actually down to the bottom lane, because they know that their gold lane is having a difficult time. He tried to balance it out with a gank onto Dare, but Dare was just able to flicker away. But now you see Exort going into the gold lane much more often.
Man, H2O on the Frederick kind of hits different, doesn't it? Plays so much differently than what I'm used to. So whenever I see his name tag,
yeah. It's much more reserved, very objective focus now, and he's really biding his time, which RSG knows they can't rush into things because of the lead that this Brody have. They just have to be very calculated.
Oh, that was a good release of the Bennett's Rage, but man, not going to be enough to stop ONIC. Though they go for first blood, make that 2 on top, and a turret to boot.
Core H2, a little too late to the party. Didn't want any part of that. ONIC PH scores not just first blood, not 2 kills, but also that tier 1 up top.
Yeah, and that's a massive gambit played by Dare. I mean, it wasn't a gambit. He knew exactly what he was doing. He quickly cleared the bottom lane, knowing that all he's going to be giving Nats is just a little bit of gold, because they know they're going to have a massive win up top if he went up there. That was a great call by Dare and the rest of ONIC to all in the top side.
Yeah, they play around with tempo, and they got what they wanted. This Lord is going to be taken out by H2, though. You can't mess with this. Y'all can't go with a red tree. We're equal on levels. I'll still get ahead. And it looks like Sensui just kind of left hanging there.
Even with the HP scaling that a Retribution gains between a Grok and a Fredrin, H2O still got the Retribution down. Again, this is what you get with an assassin player playing a utility jungler.
Yeah, so far so good. As Rockhard said, seeing H2 play like this does hit different. but it seems like it's a hit that you're willing to take, and you're actually happy that you got hit because so far, H2 looking good.
Yeah, but ONIC, of course, will still be ahead in gold. They still have some of that tempo left over from that top side push. Top is exposed here for RSG, so now we're going to have to wait and see what ONIC is going to be going for next.
Oh, that's Kekedot using the conceal to help mask a rotation, but it looks like RSG SLATE PH not allowing it. Again, the fact that H2O is holding down at least this quarter of the map makes this match closer than what it looks. Again, despite ONIC's 2-kill lead, a turret lead, all turtles have gone to RSG SLATE Philippines, so that's what's keeping it close.
That's saying something. That means they're keeping the objective in mind. Unlike some teams, they're just willing to give everything away just so that they don't suffer in the early game. RSG are still able to at least pull some of that back from ONIC.
Revisiting the keys to victory earlier, one of those for ONIC PH was find the best counterplay swing back. Right now, that's looking like it applies more to RSG PH with ONIC having the lead. But their key to victory earlier was to also utilize a new playstyle for the Raiders, and we're seeing it. This is the most cautious and reserved RSG I've seen in a while.
Bit of a TikTok play here from Light. Just Light pings, I guess. So basic here for RSG. They take up a kill and a turret on top side. A little bit of a revenge from earlier.
Interesting mechanical use of the Way of the Dragon. Redmar, did you see that? He kicked him into the wall!
Yep, and when that happens, there's nowhere for you to go. That was a great call there by Light and RSG SLATE PH. There's snaps!
Man, Emma really hit the mark there, forcing ONIC, the guy to back off. Toward the port memory puts basically no damage onto Nats, buying so much space. And now RSG, they get another turtle. And they're not quite done yet. Nats will be low. Already used the split. And that is going to be the collateral damage there for RSG.
It looked really good for RSG SLATE PH, but ONIC PH was actually the one able to secure the turtle there. Sensui just being able to retribution it in time. Again, that's what we were talking about, the strength of a Grok and why you pick him up in the jungle. He's able to stand toe-to-toe with a Fredrin.
Which is weird, because in the most unconventional ways, and where you could have sworn RSG was in the lead, it's ONIC who gets the turtle.
Yep. Sensui from out of nowhere with that retry.
That's a wild charge to the face!
Speaking out of nowhere, they just dive in onto that. They're surprised. Wait, what is this Grok doing in that book? He's not supposed to be there, and they suffer a kill.
My boy John Paul Salonga, what happened?
Call an ambulance, but not for me, says Sensui, and now ONIC on the way to breaking this mid lane tower unless RSG SLATE PH be able to clear it in time, and they do. So now we're at the point of the game, ONIC PH with the lead. This Grok is a problem. The damage it's dealing along with the setups. And so far, Nets is untouched because RSG SLATE are getting surprised by the positioning of ONIC PH, them being able to get there in time. So now RSG, though, again, I like how they're playing slow and calculated. They're up against a team that had an early game lead. They just need to pick their fights, and eventually they'll be able to find that counterplay swing back if ONIC doesn't make the most out of an initiation that they start.
30 seconds away about from the first lord of the game. ONIC, 3K ahead, give or take. They're pressuring down bottom. Nats has been doing good, just holding the losing lanes for RSG SLATE Philippines. But that brings up the question, what happened in the early game? How did Dare do this? And it looks like they're going for more!
That's a big question. Dare will miss on the bravest fighter, but will it be enough? I think it will. Super Prince with enough damage on the Eman. That's also a turret. Exhort, gonna be terrified here, but is in no immediate danger. And now, because of that, ONIC will have an opening on that Lord, just like you mentioned.
Great start there by ONIC to pull the trigger on that play. Emma just not being able to get away in time. And right now, we're seeing a difference in the proactiveness of XP laners. Again, the Lapu Lapu was the direct answer to the glue because we know the Lapu Lapu can rotate a little bit faster. Dare avoided getting picked off early off in the game, and then he was the one able to get out of lane much quicker. Glue is still a strong pick. Don't get me wrong, but players are starting to understand more and more now just how slow he is with being able to go around the map and how much you can move around much quicker over the glue.
And this is a big contrast to how Nats usually plays. He plays so quickly around the map. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful play there. They're able to take out a Grok. That's no mean feat here. And ONIC will have to fight this 4v5. A little bit of a cooldown on the ultimates, which means that they can push a little bit further, a little bit harder here. That's the top lane turret taken down, and an inner turret on the mid also taken with Nets.
the map was not on RSG SLATE PH's side. Yes, they picked off Shinshui. Wasn't a shutdown by any means. There were no kills on that Grok, and they lost so many turrets along the way, and there's waves upon waves crashing into their base.
Yeah, and speaking of waves, that's all RSGPH can do now. Hope that Exort catches the right target so that they can burst one or two down, and then eventually RSGPH will just whittle down the other members of ONIC. In full 5v5s, ONIC's on the roll. They have the utility. Again, the Deki pick coming in third. The Grok being able to avoid crowd control. The Lapu Lapu as well. Super Prince changing his battle spell into a Purify. RSG SLATE, their window of opportunity at this point of the game is so small.
And considering Nets is untouched, look at that. A knock-up on Sensui, that's a good start for RSG. There goes the Time's Journey, no one's getting knocked up anymore. The damage is actually quite fading here for ONIC if you think about it, but Nets will still get a kill after he gets shut down.
Hey, at least now RSG SLATE PH gets a favorable punish. And now Light walks away with his life. This is signs of life from RSG SLATE PH, pushing out ONIC.
It's the counterplay swing back we were talking about. At some point, RSG SLATE will be able to find it, and they did. It was a beautiful initiation by Sensui, don't get me wrong, but RSG SLATE, it looked like they were ready for it, and immediately Light with a great pickoff onto Nets to lead to the situation where ONIC had to completely change their approach to their fight because they had to protect their marksmen. Speaking of, the gold is still in favor of Nets, but both marksmen have Wind of Nature and have their key damage items, so it's still pretty neck and neck at this point.
That's actually the point I was going to bring up there. Nets was untouched up until that point, which is the big difference maker here, which was stopping RSG from going all in. Because if they go all in, and Nets is right there with a good front line, they can't really do much, and they're going to get punished. But now that's a different story.
Yep, and that shrank ONIC PH's gold lead by half. They were sitting at a comfortable 5-point-something gold lead, now down to 2.5K. They make a beeline for the Lord. This is Luminous, so mind you, if this does start marching down through mid, it is going to crash into that base, making it a dangerous call for RSG SLATE PH. So they have to be very careful. Now Super Prince almost finds it.
Yep.
Almost.
Exort already used his ultimate though.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's in the mind of ONIC PH players right now, as they are juggling this Lord. Everyone is doing the zone, and RSG decides to just let it go.
Good decision there by RSG SLATE. Way too risky. Kekadude still had his time journey, and Exort did not have his ultimate. Tried to pick off Super Prince, but Super Prince able to sidestep it. It happened off camera, but now there's going to be a hell of a defense for RSG SLATE. They have, this is the struggle with Kadita lineups. Not the best wave clear.
Yeah.
But if they can get the combo from the Kadita to land on Heroes, that's going to be a completely different story.
Or just keep Eman alive, basically, because Eman is like their biggest minion wave clear, Lord clear tool here.
With the rocket launcher and the submachine pistols too.
Oh no, not a good place for Exort to be. Tries to burst down, Prince.
Oh, it's a 1v1 on the side while the rest of their teams do a 4v4 around the Lord. It's going to be H2O knocked up and pulled back here, and he is not going to go down for the meantime, but Nats might be in trouble here. Time's Journey Part 2 going to be used up by ONIC here, putting Nats low, but not quite dead yet.
Successful defense by RSG SLATE Philippines. ONIC walks out.
That was on the back of Nats, but of all people.
Yeah, Nats being able to get away just in time. I really thought he was going to go down there, but ONIC also realized that we just popped our time journey. RSG SLATE knows that we're going to be chasing Nats, and with how things were lined up, it looks like RSG were already lining up abilities if ONIC decided to pursue Nats. Good thing they backed off, because I feel like RSG could have found an even bigger swing back if ONIC decided to commit the chase.
Never count out the MPL Philippines Season 9 Grand Finals MVP, all right? Nats has had a hard early and mid-game. Now in the late game, I think he knows his role and he's playing it best. He knows that he has to spoil ONIC's retreat, he has to spoil ONIC's engagement, and he can burn a few ults himself. I'm guessing once this immortality comes online, or hell, even if he starts building this Cursed Helm, then he'll help that suboptimal wave clear. So watch out for Nats. He's one of the few reasons RSG SLATE PH is still in this.
ONIC's got to be aware, because they got to watch some anime. This is Nats' Sakuragi Part 2 phase.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, with a hairstyle change. So you kind of just have to keep in mind that. Plus, I have to commend H2O in that last big team fight. He didn't go down.
Yeah.
He absorbed so much damage, able to back off at the last second. And that actually kind of like left ONIC like hanging, like, all right, we used up all our damage. What do we do now?
Now that brings up a question. Since Nats is holding on and holding out for his team, what's there to do? We haven't really seen Dare make much of a move in the past, say, 5 or 6 minutes. Where does this Lapu-Lapu come in through engagements?
It's so pretty much just going to be being able to make sure that you land that stun when you have the double-handed sword form on you, and just being able to whittle out deal the damage that you can because of how tanky he can be. He gets some extra life steal with the presence of the mini glues around if that's when he decides to commit his ultimate. But one good catch by the Lapu-Lapu will be massive for ONIC VH. Speaking of catch though, RSG SLATE need to work double time in catching off Nets because the last item he built was actually the Athena shield. So a full combo from Exort won't be able to take down Nets. He's the only source of magic damage, well, glue relatively, but not by that much. And Nets also has a good amount of survivability as well for physical damage. So RSG SLATE, once they catch Nets, they need to do everything they can to take him down ASAP.
Yeah, aside from the fact that he's one of the toughest marksmen probably in the game, right?
Yeah, Brody.
Who naturally just builds up defensive items.
This is the most blue the map has been in the past 15 minutes. So that means RG SLATE PH have as much of a chance at contesting this Lord. Hence why H2 and Sensui are just playing tug of war with this Luminous Lord.
Looking very blue. They got the glue. And there's H2 in the middle of 2.
Bars.
You're a poet and you didn't even know it. Check out Kadira. Check out the positioning of Exort. I wonder what he's planning here. Who is he going to try to go for? Because this River Bush, look at this. Dare and Nets inside of it. They can burst so many folks here.
Oh, they're trying to make a move now. H2O is the target, but look at that. He's absorbing so much damage, and he's basically alive still. And one hit puts Super Friends forcing him back.
Great position by Light though.
Great position. That Light can catch him. It's going to be an H2 Lord. Oh, my goodness. And they're able to take out Super Prince as well, I think. At this point, he is in trouble.
He gets away. No,
He's
Nats.
able to get away. No! Nat says no. Where are you going? Sit down.
Look at the minions.
And it's going to be a team fight still, but looks like H2, or rather RSG, are going to be put a little low for comfort. Nats is on the back. He's back to help his teammates. Taking it out Light with a torn apart memory. He is actually still quite tanky, and he's still pretty confident. Nats, he's still going. He still wants to get something done, but Nats is just saying, no, not today.
One-man army, 3v1. Nats is so in it.
That is classic Nats. That's why we call him Nasty. It's not the highlight kill spree that we're used to seeing him do, but his presence there, and near the end of that sequence, sandwiching the members of ONIC stifled their attempt to counter-punish RSG SLATE after they secured the Lord.
And another shot onto Super Prince. He's basically a sniper magnet at this point.
That's what you do at this point. Now RSG SLATE PH turning the tides. They're now on the offensive. Taking down a tier 2 in bottom, taking down a tier 2 in mid. Top lane not long for the world, neither. And now it's H2 who's starting to steal the buffs away from ONIC.
And this is where RSG SLATE is at most comfortable, in control. But they played a hell of a game trying to find a way to claw back. Don't get me wrong, ONIC PH, as long as their inhibitors are up, will have the natural advantage in this game. But RSG SLATE, again, with a combination of a Kadita, a Cho, and now at this point with the Beatrix roaming together with them and a Fredrin, they are very pick-off based. And with a little bit more area in the map to work with, there is a higher chance they might be able to find a massive pick-off to even further their control in the game.
When it comes to kit complexity, RSG SLATE PH has the advantage. They trump ONIC PH in terms of what they can do with their lineup, because ONIC PH, what they're good at is focusing on one thing and making sure we are unstifled with, right? You have the times journey. But once they get over that layer, RSG SLATE PH gets everything they want, and even Sensui can take his own purple buff. That's Grand Theft Purple.
RSG is basically a non-stop DPS machine at this point, as long as they can get through, that times journey, right? So I get what you mean. It's that first part that they gotta work around.
And it took them, what, 17, 18 minutes? But it was worth it.
Yeah, they got there eventually. Sometimes it's about the journey, not just the destination. And RSG SLATE made the most out of their journey right now. Creative positionings by Light, catching the members of ONIC off guard, and Eman being able to land those snipes to get the initial burst damage early on. Those are going to be two of the main factors that RSG need to work around so that they can continue taking it to ONIC PH.
Low-key, those snipes are actually so useful.
Yeah.
It stops Super Friends from being super confident.
Yeah.
Which is stopping the initiation from ONIC, and it's giving them so much leeway, so much space here.
And that's just one of the many tools Eman has, one of the many tools RSG SLATE PH has, and that's what allows H2O now to start pulling despite the rest of his teammates being up north, being in the top lane, the long lane. And it's this same setup that just mere moments ago allowed RSG SLATE that is, to score a Lord of their own. So now I'm afraid if ONIC is going to fall for the same trap.
Yeah, there is good positioning from ONIC though, but they're going to try to force the issue right now. RSG SLATE, able to sidestep those concealed plays, so it resets the sequence for the time being. Although ONIC still have control of the Lord. Again, still great positioning by ONIC. They're still covering the mid, close to the top side. You see where Kekadut and Super Friends are. That's them just being careful and watching out for a potential split push by Eman and Light if they decided to go for it. But now, ONIC, I like the position of this Diggy. RSG, very compact. Oh, who's going to pull the trigger first?
Oh man, this Lord dance between Sensui and H2. It's a ballad, man. I gotta say, it's rhythmic. It's very tense. It's got everything.
Hypnotic.
Oh man,
Hips don't lie.
hips don't lie, bro.
The shaking. Look. Watch how H2 is just moving on back and forth, back and forth.
It's like a pendulum, man. I don't know who, but it's Sensui definitely has the better tools because he has that Guardian barrier.
Yep, and they're using it to great advantage. Look at Eman looking to put a bead on the Kekadot.
360 snipes.
Oh, no scope.
360.
Literally.
Well, when he's aiming, he's scoping, so 360 scope.
Yes.
Or let's just go with no scope.
It's
That
just
sounds better,
360.
yeah.
Sounds cooler.
Anyway, it's going to be a possible collapse on the H2, but then again, the tankiness of Fredrin just discouraging ONIC from going all in.
This is great for ONIC because they already saw Eman's forced to clear minion waves here, but they're still really taking their time.
Because it was a full reset.
Full reset.
They pulled Lord way too far, and I guess that's kudos to H2. He pulled him too far.
Again, ONIC are still watching out for the potential of the split push there. RSG aren't fully committing to the idea. Eman's still showing himself in the map. H2's just around. I like this positioning by Nats because this forces ONIC a little bit back. Oh, RSG might have just found an opening. Look at Light.
Oh, RSG.
Oh!
Going for Light. He finds Nets, but Nets able to play around this, break those ankles of that show, and it is once more a full reset. By the way, I timed this. They start the Lord Dance at 21.
Yeah, but that's
They're
great.
still going.
They're still going. It's 2 minutes and counting. And what's great here is that Kekadut no longer has his time journey, but RSG need to force the issue. The cooldown of that wouldn't be that long, but because of the presence of ONIC in this Lord Dance, they still can't fully commit. But look at Nets.
Oh!
IMU also spent here, Super Friends, in a fraction of his health. Let's see, does ONIC have what it takes? Can they still force this?
Still a go. Is it still a go? That top lane is also threatening here with Nets just doing them dirty.
He got found out, though.
Spotted out. It's going to be Super Prince. Exhort finds it after how many minutes? Another kick on the Kekadot and a breath of the ocean just to finish it off. That Diggy is gone.
Dexter Martinez, Exord and H2, the connection is alive, and they're still going for the Lord, down to an eighth of its health.
Reset again, but looks like it's gonna be for RSG, because right now Sensui, he's on the run, Nets and there, they can only watch as RSG just does what they want to do. There, he's tired though, going for the greatest fighter, but he is not in a good position, forced to flicker out and back off. This is going to be an RSG Lord.
It's a two-man advantage for RSG SLATE PH. Not just that, 8K ahead. This is a clear, evolved Lord for our Season 9 champions.
24 minutes and we're still going. ONIC is going to have to pull off a hell of a defense to stop this.
RSG SLATE How did they find it? That was a far kick by Light. They weren't able to fully kill nets there, catch nets, but the time journey gone. RSG SLATE continued the issue, and good patience not to force that Lord because Sensui was still there. They wanted to send Sensui back before they secured the Lord, and now we find themselves in this situation. A situation that we didn't think, and I think even RSG themselves are a little bit surprised. They are in the lead.
Oh, man, Exhort pings, bro. At this point, he's really good at it. I can really feel the difference in how Exhort plays in this game.
That was more than just mechanics. That was synergy. And now, top lane has been broken into as well. Penetrated by RSG SLATE Philippines. Bottom taken care of by Kekedot. Mind you, Super Prince has spent his IMU, so that's a clear advantage for RSG SLATE PH. And they're already coming in!
They want to get this game done. They are tired of waiting. H2 is absorbing all of that damage. A little bit of a reset here as H2 needs to regenerate, but looks like ONIC will be able to pull off the defense after all.
This is what I call an even ball game now. Yes, RSG is more pushed forward, but there's no more towers in the board except for the bases themselves left standing. ONIC has fought valiantly in this game. What they did to take control for majority of the game was a thing of beauty. But now RSG SLATE PH with their own form of artistry, able to paint themselves a picture where the picture looks like it could be victory for their squad.
Now, we're sitting at about 27 minutes. RSG SLATE PH up by about 12,000 gold. They are cordoning off ONIC PH from their own resources. It's a miracle that even ONIC PH could get to their orange buff this time around, but I'm not so sure because look at Light. Look at how he's positioned here in the bush next to the rock Ursa. They have to send Kekedot to make sure that, hey, is this safe? Is this safe? Can Nets get this, please?
And they just have to not be overconfident. They have to play a little bit more confident, rather, because it might look like a huge lead, but 10K is just nothing at this point, right? Everyone's got their items locked in, and all they have to do is just keep their eyes on the map. Splits are also a big possibility with a lineup like this, and if you cannot control that, again, ONIC's wave clear, a little bit limited compared to what we normally used to. So every lane must be accounted for here.
Yeah, both of these two teams' wave clear is not the best. They rely on specific hero to do with the heavy work in terms of wave clearing. Eman is that for RSG. And we'll revisit something that we mentioned earlier. His snipes have been on point, and it's been a deterrent to ONIC PH. But Light, oh, this is trouble.
So. Oh, ONIC pulled a little bit of a trigger there on the Light, puts him very low, might force him to back off a bit, and could be an opening for Sensui to make a scout.
Yeah. This could lead to two different outcomes. Number one, they could punish Sensui. RSG SLATE PH gets a free Lord. The other way around is RSG SLATE PH overcommits, much like this. Can they find it? And they turn it around, but it looks like neither team's not going to let either
no way!
Ow!
How?
Eman!
How is he finding this time and time again?
MSC 2022 MVP Eman! Ow!
The deterrent is working. It's like every time ONIC PH wants to get close, Eman's like, nah, I'm going to snipe on the cat!
Huge cap-up combo here. Sensui popped with the immortality. He's going to have to back off, and that's going to be a kill. Eman's really playing it well. H2's in the front. He has immortality. He has no fear. Appraiser's Rat is going to be ready there, and that is going to be it. I think so. That's going to be RSG. Unstoppable damage output. That consistent DPS. Really working it out with a double kill there for Eman. Kekedot slow. Nets is still trying to see if he can make something done. But H2O says no. He's going down.
That's it. It's a wipeout. Shooting Gallery has turned into Raider country because RSG SLATE PX are on their way to taking game one.
And Eman has made this look like a shooting gallery. RSG SLATE gunning for the first game win.
And with that victory, folks, we have currently broken the Season 11 longest game record.
Yep.
Did we hit the 30-minute mark?
Almost.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, close to it.
29.
There's so many things going on in the map, I couldn't see the timer. I'm sorry.
I know. That was quite